what I will be dealing with. So this was the first reason, and the second reason is I have had a research on this major and realized that this major, one of those which has one of the most prospects for example, in job opportunities in the future, and as well as in internships opportunities. So the third reason that I chose this major is actually based on the assessment of INUFI foundation year program. I had to choose other majors than computer science because I have a conditional state. So and I'm glad with this because this major, although it might seem hard for some of students, I think that it's one of the most useful majors. And yeah, I'll talk about the prospects of this major later. So what else? Also, the most interesting parts, I'd like to mention the most interesting parts of the major that I liked, because when I researched this major, I found that the application of the whole engineer department are very versatile, and especially electrical and computer science major can be applied in different fields and can be applied in such industries as aerospace, aviation, construction, manufacture, oil and gas, public service, even education and science, consulting and audit, sales and services maybe, and especially, for example, if you go through, for example, study deep learning, and I mean, you can also apply your knowledge in medicine field, and also transportation, communication, and so, you know, there are a lot of fields that this major can be applied. So let's talk about specifically jobs and internships. For example, if you don't know yet how to apply, for example, to a certain internships, how to find those internships. Actually, if you go through just, for example, even career and advising center, you can find there a number of quite useful information, and especially, yeah, because they have quite a fresh information, and so you can apply basically and plan your career path at any time. Also, jobs and concerning jobs and internships, you can find them in Glassdoor, for example, in Indeed, JobStreet, and Prospects. So these are the platforms where you can find the most related to your major jobs and internships. And also, if you want to work after second year of study or third year of study as a research assistant, you can find it in research.nu.nukz, and also by using the filters. Basically, in these platforms, you will have options to choose even being as an internship assistant in other universities. So, and using the filters, you can find specifically in our university. Basically, that's all about that I can give you information about jobs and internships and also other prospects. So for now, what else can I say about you, freshman? I can give you an advice how to, for example, to succeed in this major. If you are sure about that, you'll continue your study in this major. First things first, you know that the first year of study will be one of the maybe hardest year of study, and this is why I advise you to apply the most of your efforts in this year of study and the second year of study as well, because if you want to continue your career path, for example, if you want to in the future after getting the bachelor's degree, you want to get a master's degree in the fields that you wish for or desire. So so the first and the second years are one of the important year of studies. So, and good time management will help you succeed in this year of study, because you know, for example, in engineers, especially in engineering departments, we have a lot of numerous deadlines. Per week you can have 8 deadlines. So to study them on time, so that a lot of deadlines will not be piled up in the future. So basically, also it sounds as a common tip, but most of the students cannot cope with that, because the self-discipline is one of the one of the important characteristics of the successful student. So plan your schedule wisely so that you will not burn out. So I guess that's all so far now. If you have other maybe questions, I can answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Alibek. So if anybody has questions, they can just unmute yourself or write in the chat. So we actually have some time until our professor arrives, so maybe I can ask you a question. So do you regret that you are not a computer science student, but an LCE major student instead?
Can you repeat the question, please? I misheard the first part, I guess.
Yeah, so my question was, do you regret that you are not a CS student, but an LCE student instead?
No, as I have already mentioned, I'm very glad that I chose this major, because, you know, although this major can be, although it can seem hard, but it's worth it, because, you know, you will have the pure knowledge. You'll get really the knowledge that you have to in the future, and this knowledge will be useful in applying this for example, in jobs, maybe also in internships, in order to get experience and to also it can be influence the major or the way that for example, if you are still, but I'm sure that the most of the students are still searching for themselves. So.
Okay, so we actually have some questions in the chat. So is Professor Akhtar's course really hard, and why? Have you taken any?
Yeah, sure. I have taken the signals and systems from Akhtar, and circuits theory, the second part. Actually, the hardest thing, actually, I don't say that the Akhtar's course is really hard, but it's hard, but it deserves it, because as I have already said that you will have because the professor is very passionate about his course and very caring about his students, and if the students fall behind the schedule, he definitely will call you through via email maybe, and ask you to meet face to face and right away. So also, basically, in the first part of my studying second year, it was really hard for me. It was even harder than my first year student, but at the end, I somehow experienced it, and it was really quite challenging. And this is one of the reasons of choosing this major, because I've known about the major, that this major may be hard. So this is why I'm actually challenging student. Well, I'm actually a challenging kind of person, and I like to, for example, to experiencing hardships. Maybe this is why. But yeah, again, if you do your assignments on time, you will not get that hard as the most students say.
Okay. And there is a second question which says, what kind of internship do you plan to get, or have you already done some internships? Can you tell your experience with that?
Oh yeah, about regarding my internship programs, I was trying to apply for an internship, but due to the epidemiological situation, COVID-19, I had to retrain this, and for example, after it, I have dedicated most of my time to study this major, because I've realized that the first year of student study was really hard for me, and I think it may be useful to, for example, to get some courses in Coursera in order to enrich my knowledge. So also concerning research assistant, I also applied, but unfortunately I was rejected due to the fact that right now I was a third year student, and there is a problem between I have to get a dormitory room in order to apply, but there was a period of time when I couldn't get a dormitory room, and this is why I didn't succeed in filling the contract.
Okay, and there is another question which says, what are the differences between the LCE major and the robotics major?
A good question. Actually, I don't have much experience in a robotics major, but I have acquaintances that are studied in robotics major, especially I have friends from fourth year students. The main difference can be the fields that this major can be applied. For example, in robotics major, they will have also research. They study coding, and as for electrical and computer engineering students, they mostly focus on getting knowledge about circuits, about how the whole things work. So basically, that's all. I mean, the hardware and software.
Okay, so do you guys have any more questions? So if not, I would like to thank Alibek for your amazing speech. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time. And we have one more question. Can ELC students build electric car, laptop, phone, or some other cool device from the scratch?
Can EC student build electric car, laptop, phone, or some other cool device from the scratch? If you are a student who very obsessed with this major, maybe you can, but you know, the thing is that you have to first get theoretical knowledge about how to construct a certain circuits, for example, for a certain device. But I'm not sure about that, and I think that maybe if you are a fourth year student, you can have already visualization how to work with this with a building from the scratch.
Okay, so it depends, right? And one more question: what research interests do you have, and how do you explore them?
Basically, good question about how I come up with my interests of research. I was very inspired actually by the Professor Akhtar, and maybe this is why I mostly searched for signals engineering internships, for example, signal processing maybe, and also it also can be dependent upon the professor, as in my case I was inspired by, and also basically you can have any of the best advice is to find your preferences, to just try for any of the internship opportunities in order to get a experience. And that's it. And what regards the exploration of them, you can find the research programs or internship opportunities in such platforms as I have already mentioned in Glassdoor, especially in Prospect. They have really quite interesting internship programs, and also on research.nu.kz if you want to apply for a position of research assistant.
Okay, so I think that's it for Alibek section. So again, thank you so much. And now I think we can move on to our professor,
Thank you. Yeah.
who's a representative of Electrical and Computer Engineering Department. So Professor Tosi, so the floor is yours. Thank you for coming.
Thanks to all, and I would like to thank again Malika for the invitation. So I am Daniele Tosi, and I also have been here at the NU for about 7 years, and I've been working in the ECE department from the time where ECE had another name, so quite a while. So I just would like to provide you with a brief introduction of our department, what we do, and the whereabouts, and then of course you feel free to ask questions. So as you can imagine, our department is quite large, because in modern science, electrical and computer engineering is a field that encompasses several disciplines. And our department in general, we ask the students to be quite broad in the range of preparation. We have courses as well as research lines that deal with the circuits and systems, research lines that deal with the power electronics, which is a very common industrial topic in nowadays environment. We have courses that deal with electromagnetics and the application of electromagnetic technology in telecommunications, which is one of the core areas in which we work. We have also another group that works on photonics and materials, basically exploring the newest trend in the realization of optical devices. And that's the area also where I am personally working on. Basically, we are basically very broad. We have a larger set of fields that students can choose and explore. But as an engineering program, we ask students to be true engineers. So engineers are developers. You have to be smart and you have to deliver, which are the true characteristics of any engineer, whether you are going to work in research or in the industry. These are the true characteristics that every engineer must have. So this basically lead also to many career opportunities that students choosing ECE can have. And they are not limited to just the field where you can choose to study, but often we have seen students that have taken a different path after working for a certain amount of time in a research line. They choose a different path and they were very happy with their choices. For example, several of the students who have worked in my group, they are working in the industry. We have students that now work in Kazakhstan and abroad. In Kazakhstan, people have chosen to work in companies such as Huawei or Tengiz. We also have a person who, for example, is a cybersecurity expert, even after working in my research line, which is quite different. So you are kind of versatile professional. Once you learn the methods, you can apply them to many different contexts, and there isn't really anything that can knock you down. Considering that in any case, what you study in the university will soon be rendered obsolete by the technology cycles, which are getting faster and faster, and therefore you have to imagine that you are going to learn methods more than results. And these methods are instead going to stay you for a very long time. So almost like a backpack that you are going to have. We also do a lot of research, and I would like to invite those of you who are interested to visit our facilities, because we have many. We have a core facility that is dedicated, for example, to the characterization of microwave and electromagnetic devices. We have core facilities related for the development of new materials for optics and optoelectronic applications. For example, our group has 2 labs where we develop our sensors based on optical technologies for biological application and for physical applications. We have also facilities that are dedicated to power electronics. So I think it's a very good opportunity in terms of research, because at this stage we are quite well set up. So we do have research grants where students are allowed to work as research assistants, and we have many in different backgrounds, so you can feel free to ask for something that is more specific and closer to your interest. And our facilities are quite large. We can develop circuits, we can actually develop devices, we can characterize devices, and you will see that the research is probably the most exciting part of our job. It's the hardest one, but also the most exciting one. At least I hope that you also as interested in research as much as I am. In our group, for example, we feature around 15 researchers, and about 5 of them are undergraduate students. So some of them in the third year also. But we also have researchers for all level up to postdoc. So it's very important that new researchers are absolutely free to work. So I think that in terms of what you actually can get more information besides consulting our references, is you can speak directly with the professors that are more interested in every topic. You probably have a chance to meet them during the courses, but also we are quite available to be reached even not just by during courses, but also outside of it. And we also have several events like this one where each one of us can present their own research topics, so that you are exposed to the specific research areas that that we all do and we all perform. And there's many. This department is a mature department that, besides having a strong educational program, has a strong research vocation. We are, one of the departments that is more frequently introducing students to the research areas, and not just during the summer, but also you can dedicate some time of that also during your semester. Research is extremely hard, but it's also extremely satisfying when you actually are putting your hands on developing your devices. So this is extremely important. Now, in terms of career paths, as I said, many of our students choose to work in areas such as oil and gas industry in Kazakhstan that is very strong. We have several of our students that are currently working. For example, just this summer, one of our researchers has found a job in Tengiz, and it's which for her pretty good opportunity. There's many students that after graduating decide to go to work in the emerging field of IT. We have students that have working in cybersecurity. We have students that are working in IT companies that provide the services all around the country. There's many in Astana. And I visited some of them lately. There is a pretty strong aerospace industry at the moment, particularly in this city, which allows many students to find a career opportunity right after their graduation, because obviously new graduates are quite respected in the workplace. And if you want to change city, we actually have also students that found a great opportunity in Almaty also. This seems to be probably one of the main destinations of our students after graduation. Instead, for those of you who would like to continue with the master, we also have a master program coming after that. That has 1 year dedicated to your research alone. So it means that for 1 year, you're going to work on your research only. That is a research-oriented master. And many students have chosen that because they would like to go for a more academic route. Master graduates have been very successful in NU. Many of them have found PhD opportunities. For example, in my group, I have graduated about 7 master students, and currently 4 are making the PhD abroad. 3 in Italy and 1 in the United States. And all of them went by recruitment, which means they got the scholarship from the university where they have been recruited. They didn't go through Boloshak process. So there has been a strong interest from other universities in recruiting a new master students and master graduates because of the good skills that students have in the workplace. That is extremely important. So we have been quite successful in that, and all the students that actually moved out, they are getting good results, which is a very good witness of the fact that our educational program and our research program works. And it can be absolutely comparable at the international level. You have to give yourself some time, of course, to be able to to master everything, because this cannot be done immediately. It's a growing process. and the research is extremely hard. It seems simple when you get started, but actually getting over many things is pretty hard. But I've seen that new students have these mindsets, so I'm very happy. And of course, if you like to know more about our specific research lines, of course, please feel free not only to meet me, but we can also visit the labs that we have. We have 2 labs on the C4 block that are one of the state-of-the-art lab in fiber optic sensors, one of the probably top 5 labs in the world in this field right now. So I think I've given enough of the introduction, and I would like now to start taking the questions. I see from the chat that you already have some. So yes, there are students that went for biomedical engineering. This is a very hot topic right now, because biomedical engineering is a very interesting program, and I am also teaching a course and supervising some students in biomedical engineering. The biomedical engineering program is only a master. So right now it's only a master program, so which however collects students that have graduated in many fields. Right now in biomedical engineering, we have students that have an ECE background, students have a biology background, so they don't even have an engineering background, but come from another school. We have students that come from chemical engineering, and we have students that come from medicine. And also we have a few students that come from computer science. So that's a very broad topic. And in biomedical engineering, you need to take courses in anatomy, and you need to take basic courses in the biomedical sciences, which include the biosensor, which is the course that I'm teaching, imaging, tissues. And then there are also courses on the biofilms, and basically they cover the area of how to apply technologies to the biomedical from the biomedical point of view. Even though you're not working in biomedical engineering program, there are several of us that are working in biomedical engineering, and I think I'm one of these persons. For example, in my research, I develop sensors that can be used for physical or biological sensing at a high performance. So these are sensors that are miniaturized and usually mounted on board on surgical devices, and can perform tasks such as temperature sensing, or even shape sensing, which means like in real time we reconstruct the shape of the needle that you are using, or perform biological sensing. For example, the latest sensors that we are developing are aimed at detecting the proteins expressed by a virus with ridiculously low concentrations. So something in the order of the few attomolar. Yes, when you study chemistry in general, you study the few molars, we detect the concentrations that are at attomolar range, which is pretty remarkable. So it's a very, it's a very broad area. And of course, we have research lines that are very much intersected. For example, there are colleagues of mine who are also developing sensors for stomatology, so for dentistry, and other that are developing circuits, for example, for biomedical applications. So it is in fact an area where we actually are quite strong. And there are students that went to biomedical engineering and were pretty happy to make this move after that. And if you have an ECE background, you are certainly allowed to go for biomedical engineering. We have some students who did through this background. For example, I'm teaching now a course on biosensors, and there are, if I'm not mistaken, 3 students that come from an ECE background, and they are doing absolutely fine. So I'll take the next question. What are the stages of building some devices? Well, that's a very generic question. It much depends on what device we are in general talking about. It depends. There are some things that basically when you work, it depends if you are, for example, more industrially oriented, and means like you would like to build a device that has a specific purpose, or if you are more scientifically oriented. For example, in our lab, we do develop our own sensors. They exist, they physically exist, and we do fabricate them, we do functionalize them, we do interrogate them, we calibrate it till the end. And we have to proceed with a certain scientific mindset, meaning that everything that we do in general is done for a reason, and we have to be even more careful and do several steps that we do and we normally wouldn't do to characterize our devices, but in this case we have to. I think that one of the challenges that you will face is that in science is not the real challenge in our research is often not to develop the whole device, but a part of it. In general, we are not interested in building a device that already exists. In our research, we don't build devices that already exists, at least in my research. It wouldn't make any sense to reinvent a device that already exists. In general, we are looking instead to build a new one, so which is much harder. And it's much harder because you need to have really a very good background. What I'm saying is that while, for example, let's say, let's make it simple, you can build, for example, if you have an infinite knowledge of all the literature, you can build the device that already exists, but you won't find in the literature the devices that we are developing because, well, they are new. So that makes it hard because you don't have often the benchmark. You have to build the benchmark for yourself, and sometimes this is harder than the development itself. So, but it's also extremely nice. I can talk about the research interest and the projects I've done. So as I said, what I like to say is that the sensors that we are developing are for the field of sensors, like a Formula One is for the field of cars. In what sense? You won't need a Formula One to go to the supermarket and make shopping. It doesn't make sense, okay? There are already general purpose sensors that are doing that. So what we are doing is actually developing sensors that have, to some extent, a performance that is extreme in that specific task. Performance extreme doesn't necessarily mean that have an extreme accuracy, although, for example, biosensors that we are developing have an extreme accuracy. But often what is the key point of our sensor is that we just take an optical fiber that is very similar to the one that you have under your curb that brings high-speed internet to your block. And that fiber doesn't become one sensor, but it becomes hundreds and hundreds of sensors. And these sensors are extremely packed in a narrow space. So for example, you have to imagine to take a small needle, mount a few fibers around that needle, and you have like something like 100, 200 sensors on that. You won't see them. It looks like a very thin cable, but in reality, we have a lot of sensors and they detect in real time. And this is the core of our research. We are pushing the boundaries of performance in terms of how many sensors we can fit in a narrow space, how fast and how accurately they can detect, what type of detection we are making. Often we are combining physical detection, biological detection, and basically this is the core of our research. So we are running now on, we have a few research projects basically that are related to the development of biosensors, to the application of our sensors to cancer care, and also to perform this high number of sensors within a very small space with a few number of fibers. This technique is called distributed sensing, and we have grants that aim at applying distributed sensing in even narrower devices. As I said, if you are interested, I invite to also show the labs. So do you need any machine learning, deep learning backgrounds? Actually, we do provide the students the machine learning background. This is one of the courses that we are doing, and one area. Obviously, if you have background in machine learning, you're welcome, because it's becoming a very hot topic, and particularly it's not as a mature research topic. It's not becoming a topic by itself, but it's actually inside every single research areas that we're using. For example, we are using machine learning in our research, even though I'm personally not a computer scientist. So it is extremely important. It's becoming one important asset in several fields. So we do provide the students with a machine learning background, and we have courses for that. And many students decide to pursue machine learning afterwards. So they are going to specialize even more. So and basically that is the process. So
okay,
I'm just wondering if you have more questions.
You can also unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Don't be shy.
Actually, I am first year EC student, and it's my first opportunity to speak with real EC professor, and I feel like I have so many questions to ask, but I cannot think of one when I really have an opportunity to speak to you.
Well, it's okay. You can postpone. I mean, considering that I plan to be alive for quite a long time, of course, you can postpone the question to a little bit later. But in case you have more questions that are more specific to, for example, one specific area or some specific, some general purpose advice that you might need, you know, how to get around, you are free to ask by email after we usually reply to emails from the students even after the event. We are, you know, happy to provide with the information, of course, as needed. So you, of course, this is an informative event, but after that, you can, you know, you can, yeah, if you have question, you can of course ask them later. And I think this, of course, for everybody, it's an invite I would like to make for everybody.
Okay. So if there are no more questions, I would like to say thank you to Professor Tosi for coming today, and thank you for your time, for your considerations. Have a great day. Be safe. So,
thanks to all, and I would like to thank you again, Malika, for the organization of the event. Please feel free to ask questions by email after that in case you would like to have another chat.
okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And now I think we can move on to Damir. Damir is the president of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers student chapter here at Nazarbayev University. So the floor is yours, Damir. Thank you for coming.
Okay, good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see your screen. Thank you.
Okay, cool. My name is Damir Kankulov, and I am the president of NU IEEE student chapter. Who we are? Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, or IEEE, an association dedicated to advancing innovation and technological excellence. It's the world's largest technical professional society. It is designed to serve professionals involved in all aspects of the electrical, electronic, and computing fields, and related areas of science and technology that underlie modern civilization. At Nazarbayev University, we have a student chapter of this organization, which brings a lot of benefits into our university in terms of both educational and professional means. Today, as a head of this club, I want to show you the work of our chapter from inside. What we do. Our mission is to bring you one step closer to success in your studies and career in the field of electrical and computer engineering. In our club, you will be able to acquire high professional and academic skills, refine ability to reason and communicate freely. Okay, now let's speak about our main programs and events. Mentoring program. If you are a freshman and you are not really confident in what you want to do in the future and have struggles with studying, socialization, searching opportunity to apply to our and you can apply to our mentoring program. During this program, you will get tricks and tips from one of the most successful IEEE students. Senior year students will help you with adaptation to university life, answer your questions, help you to improve with your studies, and show the opportunities of your major. This may be extremely helpful for you as a student, so do not even hesitate to apply. The next, we organize guest lectures with various companies. By joining our guest lectures, you'll be able to get familiar with internship and career opportunities. Here you will find answers on how to apply for a job and how to improve your CV. Additionally, if you are interested in research work, we also organize research lectures with our professors. In these lectures, you'll have an opportunity to get familiarized with research that are being conducted at our university. Later, if you become motivated about specific research, you can join the corresponding research teams. Moreover, we organize field trips for students to large technical companies like Chevron, Cisco, Intel, Samsung Electronics, and so on. By joining these field trips, you'll become acquainted with future potential job places and see the real work of engineers in the industry. In addition, you can participate in student talks where one of the most successful students will share their experience in conducting research, succeeding in studies, launching startups, and getting internships. Moreover, soon we will have an opportunity to talk with previous IEEE members, where they will speak about their life in and after university. What is special about us? I can say without any doubt that we are a very friendly community that tries to support and help each member. With IEEE, you will be able to experience yourself in various social activities because there will be organized a number of cool events such as IEEE Cup or, as you can see, cyber sport competitions. Along with that, I want to add that we try to organize frequent team buildings where we play technical games, speak about the future plans, and help each other, of course. Why should you join us? With IEEE, you'll develop confidence in your major and career. Along with acquiring educational practical excellence, here it is possible to find new develop networking skills and professional skills. You will be able to improve your university life and your university by making it better and interesting place to study and grow. If you're interested in our club, we'll be more than happy to see you among us. Also, I wanted to add that regarding our events, recently we had a Zoom session with ECE professors, and you can watch the recording in which our professors such as Ahsan Almagambetov, Kechu Kayegbo, Muhammad Hashmi, Mehdi Bagheri, Daniele Tosi introduced our student with their research. I will share a YouTube link with you where you can watch the recording of this event. I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Damir. So if any of you guys have any questions to Damir, you can ask them right now. You can just unmute yourself or write the question in the chat.
The link for the event is in the chat. And I wanted to add that if you want to participate in our events, I'm sharing a Google link to our mailing list. It's also in the chat. Yes.
So Damir, are you still recruiting? So can people still apply to your club?
Unfortunately, recruitment has ended, but if you want, you can write to our email. I'll write email address, or to our Instagram account. One second.
Okay, so guys, do you have any questions? So we'll wait for 1 more minute for you to ask your question, and if no, then we'll move on.
And I wanted to add that regarding opportunity talks with our IEEE members, we have a recording in our Instagram account. Previously, we invited 3 students. May I show it? Just as you can see, we invited Miras Sovetov, who attracted foreign investment of several thousands of dollars for his startup. Then the second student was Asset Baisalov, who was a winner of a student energy challenge organized by Kaz Energy, and Kalamkaz Zhigaparova, who talked about research and signals and systems.
Okay, then. So again, if there are no questions, then we'll move on. Thank you so much, Damir, for introducing the IEEE for us. And thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. And now we have one last speaker to present for us, which is Arman. Arman is a third-year ELCE student. So Arman, you can start now. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Right, let me share my screen. You see it, right?
I see a white screen. Is it correct?
Yeah, good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hi everyone. I'm Arman Lee, a third-year electrical and computer engineering student. So here, there's the next slide. You can see my face. Yeah, that's me. For a little background, let me tell that I'm trying to maintain high GPA, like probably top 10% of excellence or something. I conduct research in optics for about a year now. I've been in student government for a year and a half before. Currently, I'm a president of Nazarbayev University Engineering Student Society Club, and like I also do some other stuff. So these are the main points that I think will be essential in CV, but I will talk about it later. So why did I choose my major? To be honest, I wasn't really passionate about it. Like I wasn't like, oh, engineering, it's something I want really to be engaged in or something. There was rather a practical choice. Like I'm good at technical subjects, and the best option was ECE, since at the time I've been thinking that it's a broad sphere and there is a big demand for electrical and computer engineers. So you can see there are some excerpts from the internet about the possible like jobs you can be hired in, like computer engineering, systems engineering, quality control, and some information about demand. So generally, my expectations were a little bit higher, but generally, if you have like good skills, I think you'll make it. Yeah. So I generally have no big regrets that I have chosen this major, but now I think that maybe I should have chosen robotics, which is like very similar to ECE, by the way, but in fact it has more programming and it's like more practical, I think. These are the things that engineers generally do. So I would advise you to Google what do like engineering branches do. I mean, probably right now you are freshmen or foundation year students. So I would recommend to make some little research and check if like this job really suits you. Because in fact, I've seen many engineers and they like just sit in front of computer 24/7, do their job. Like they, for instance, I've been doing research. I mean, I'm currently engaged in research, and I just sit in front of computer, do some design of like resonators or something, and that's how work goes. I mean, it's not like on this picture, as you see, like he's doing something with his hands, or making some like circuits by his hands. It's not like this. Okay. So what are the opportunities about like what is the branches, what are the directions of electrical and computer engineering you can go to in Nazarbayev University in particular? As you see, in fact, we have 4 branches, which are circuits and systems, communications and signal processing, power systems, and computer engineering. So I will say that most of previous year students were engaged in computer engineering, in fact, since the program was a little bit like another program, like it was adjusted not that long ago. So now our program is having some useless courses, in fact, like social electives or something, but this is done to be for the program to be like accredited. So by the way, one of the fears is that, for instance, if you apply to that, maybe you have heard it, like a German thing that gives you a scholarship to for you to study in German like universities. So there is a chance that you will not be admitted because our program is not accredited. But I'm not sure if our program is still not accredited. So please check it on NUEDUC.kz. So what things do I like about my major? In fact, there is a one benefit. It's probably that most of the students of electrical and computer engineering are having, let's say, low GPA on offline. I mean, this is a opportunity for you if you're like hardworking or like very proficient student. So you can be the top student easily, I think. So this is one of the benefits. I mean, it's probably not really benefit since the study is really hard, but I think this one of the benefits you can see in this major. Yeah, but when talking about disadvantages, for instance, compared to robotics program, I think it looks like there are some obsolete courses. As I said before, there's not a very big choice of the courses. For instance, in fact, this is the programs that we'll have. I mean, you will have. This is a 4-year program. So on the 3rd and 4th year, you'll be choosing some electives, like your discipline electives, technical electives, or something like interdisciplinary design project, yeah, and these things. And these are the courses that you can choose. I mean, you see there a lot of courses, probably about maybe 30 or 40, but in fact, they are not like very like adapted for students, at least from what I heard from previous generation students. And also, I'm not sure if okay, I'm not sure that we have like enough programming experience. As a 3rd year, I've been studying like 2 years before, and in fact, in our electrical and computer engineering, we almost didn't have programming courses. I mean, we had, but it was like 1, maybe 2 maximum courses. Yeah. So what are the opportunities that you have after or maybe during your major, you can like find a job? So these are the industries where the major is applied. You can in fact find it on CAC, as I remember, like career and advising center. You can get on research starting from the 1st year. Like I'm talking about the opportunities in major. And if you'll find a very generous kind professor, you can start right from the 1st year. However, I would recommend, I mean, I personally would recommend to start research on maybe 2nd, maybe 3rd year, since, for instance, I have started on the 2nd year. My mates, I mean, my friends started on the 3rd year, but I wouldn't say that there is a big difference between us. For instance, I'm soon publishing my research paper, and they also are publishing their research paper. However, they're working for instance like 4 months, and I'm working year and a half, so like it doesn't really matter. However, the first year you can dedicate it to some other things. For instance, the ideal choice, the ideal like plan, what would I have to do like during these 4 years. After first year in the summer, I would like to maybe go to work and travel program to have some fun, earn some 15-20 grants, and on the second year maybe I would start in research. I mean, as I did on the third year internship, and after fourth year, obviously I'm like going to the job or masters. So that's the ideal plan. So the best place for internship, I would say, is Western Kazakhstan, maybe like oil industry, since there is the most money concentrated. I mean, in the engineering industry, since companies like Kazmunaygas, NCOC, and so on, like many companies, they are giving some good salaries for even interns. For instance, I have a friend which has been an intern in Kazmunaygas, as I remember, and he had like maybe 300,000 tenge like per month. I mean, it's not a big amount, but I think it's more than enough for an intern. However, the big con in Kazakhstan is that you definitely need to have some connections. I mean, I haven't seen a single friend of mine which had an internship in oil industry without having some, you know, siblings or some like friends in the industry. So in fact, most of my friends who don't have connections, they just work like tutors, maybe doing some other job not related to ECE, but some of them are junior developers. So like it depends on you, on your ambitions. Okay. So about my major courses, I would tell that probably you should study very well signals and system. I mean, in fact, there are some obsolete courses and there are some good courses. I mean, you just can't change it, so you'll know it when you take them. So just try to study hard all of the courses. I mean, don't be just sitting here like thinking, I'll like, cheat or I will just pass the course. Because, for instance, signals and systems, it's a very significant course. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't been studying it like honestly. I mean, honestly, by like super hard. Yeah, I don't cheat. Yeah. But now I regret because in fact this course, for instance, or circuits course is needed right now on the third year and on the fourth year. Yeah. And please don't listen to the gossips. For instance, everyone says that Professor Akhtar is like I don't know, his phrase like, oh yes, my friends, is just priceless. But in fact, he's a good man. I would say he's one of the best professors in our ECE department, in fact. So please, like, don't trust these gossips, and like try to give like more time and energy to courses which are like essential and will be needed on some next years. So which advices I would like to give to you? Probably you don't have to be scared to like decrease your GPA, to have low GPA. It's absolutely okay. For instance, I have something about 3.67 or 3.7. It's okay, but in fact now I think that even 3.0, maybe 3.2 would be okay, because I have missed so many opportunities like to hang out with my friends or something. I mean, it's your students, you're like 20-year guys, so I think you should somehow try to find a balance between studies, like your hobbies, internships, nightlife. So please do not only concentrate on studies. I mean, it's essential, do the maximum that you can, but also dedicate some time to participate in the clubs that you want. I mean, maybe dance, boxing or something. Please don't, I've seen that many students that came to UNU after like studying hard, they just like withdraw their hobbies, like leisure activities, and this is not really good, since I mean you have only 4 years here and you just spend it on study. I mean, nah, it sounds like crazy. I wouldn't recommend to do that. And on internships and jobs, in fact, you will not really need the knowledge you get in university. I mean, in fact, you're studying here just to learn how to study. I mean, for instance, I don't remember, I remember nothing about signals right now, like from that course, but I'm pretty sure that I can remind it if I'll spend like, for instance, 2 days, I will remind all the course. So you just have to know how to learn fast and efficiently. So accepting the case you want to go further to master's or PhD, I think you can like you can have some flex and you know, just chill a little. Yeah. So go hang out with friends time to time, take care of your personal life, and just have some good time. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Do you have some questions?
Yeah, thank you for such a brutally honest but like very helpful and informative speech. So yeah, guys, if you have any more questions, you can just unmute yourself and write in chat. And I think we have some questions in chat already. So what is your specialization? Akiran asks.
I'm sorry, just for a minute.
Yeah.
What is my specialization? To be honest, I'm doing some courses in computer engineering. I mean, like ML, AI, it's very interesting topic. But in fact, in the university, I mean, if we are only talking about the academic part, probably that will be circuits, I think, or maybe power engineering. They are both, I mean, almost everything that is presented in NU is in demand, but that will depend on what you want to do in future. Please don't like sacrifice your what you want for, you know, like I don't know, salary or something. That's a bad idea.
So the next question is, don't computer engineers do a lot of programming? They have so many similar CS courses like operating systems, software engineers, and algorithms.
They have, and they probably had, but for instance, I'm a third year. I had only one programming course. Maybe I will try. I mean, you have some CS courses like operating systems or software engineering courses, algorithms on the 4th year. Maybe I'll take them. For now, I'm not sure, but generally you will not have much programming. I mean, if you want to go in software engineering, please don't go to ECE. I mean, it's your choice, but I wouldn't recommend to go to ECE. Rather go to CS, maybe robotics, but I would recommend CS more.
Okay, and the next question is, what ECE students do in oil industry?
In oil industry, all the electric parts, I think, for instance, you have some mining machines, 3-phase generators. I mean, almost everywhere, I think. So it's better to like do some research or directly write to the company, do you need electrical engineers, or what do they do in your company? Are there any like vacancies for me? And maybe just go to the official site of the company that you are interested in and ask it. By the way, I have a question. I don't know if I should answer it in personal to Shumuz, but I think I should answer it like publicly. Why it's so that you should have chosen robotics? It's more because I've been thinking that in robotics, I mean, I still think that robotics is more practical, and in fact, you before going to EC, I've been like very passionate about doing something with my hands, like not only sitting like in front of computer, like really doing some circuits, inventing some like robots or something, like machines, I mean cars. And I think robotics is closer to that side of activity. I mean, rather than EC. EC is more about the basics, about the like generators, about the circuits, about the communication, like how signal, how you should make an, which kind of amplifier you should use, or how should you use it to make the circuit behave in the way you want, like this. While robotics, as for me, it considers this aspect, but it's more concentrated on the general like project, on like some motion, or I'm not sure if I can like tell it properly. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so do you guys have any more questions?
Can EC students find a job in renewable energy industries, or to connect their career life to become renewable energy engineering? Probably yes. I haven't seen that much students, I mean, from NU that went in the renewable energy, but definitely yes. That depends. Probably if you just end the bachelor's degree, you'll not be the most like in high demand specialist, since in fact most of the industries abroad, like Germany, Europe, US, and every normal country requires a master's at least. So probably if you go to the master's and you want to be engaged in renewable energy industry, you should go to something like renewable energy project management or something, I mean, connected to this thing. Guys, please do not change your major because I said that. I mean, please write to some professors, ask them, like just gather some more information. Okay, I mean, for me, I don't have big regret, but it's just like жалко, ну ладно, что поделать. No, it's like if you have your brain okay, if you're like hardworking, if you're like really dedicating your energy to the study, I mean, you'll be successful in like ECE or robotics or like everywhere. I mean, even after ECE, you can have some like practical things like robotics, do some robots in laboratories or something. I mean, even on ECE, so it's not like a threshold, it's not like a limiting thing. Yeah.
So, are there any more questions? So Shahnar is asking about your plans. What are your future plans about your career or studies?
Do you plan to go for ML or AI? I think, in fact, ML is overhyped. AI, ML thing is like really overhyped. I mean, I'm not saying that there will be no demand. I mean, if you're a good specialist, it doesn't matter if there is a demand. You'll be good at this thing and you'll be taken for in a big company or something. But like every second my friend is going to like ML AI thing. So it's good to have basics in ML, just know how does it work, like have the skill of doing some like basical, you know, some ML specific like programs or something. But I wouldn't go to like straight only ML AI. I'm also interested. In fact, I'm more interested even in hardware engineering now, like making circuits, basically implementing some circuits inside of like new circuits, optimized circuits, faster circuits inside of the electronic devices or something. I want to go on masters probably, but I'm not sure if I'll have a good offer in Kazakhstan, or that will also depend on my personal life. Like, I mean, it's not that easy So it will depend on many factors. If I'll have some good offer in Kazakhstan, maybe I'll stay here for some time. But in fact, I want to take masters to get out of the country for some time, especially to not be in the military service. Yes, guys, you know it. I mean, we won't survive after you in military service, guys. Don't do that. Why didn't you learn programming on your own? There are a lot of self-taught programmers. Yes, I'm trying to do that. I mean, I've been learning some web dev things. I've been taking courses. I mean, courses not in NU related to ML and software engineering. However, on ECE or on any technical major, you will not have that much time. I mean, that depends on how you list your priorities. I mean, for instance, for me, academics is a like second or third. First is like maybe social life. No, not social life, rather internships. Research is on the first place. On the second is social life. Third is like GPA. Fourth is some other stuffs like maybe clubs or something. So I try to learn programming even now, but I don't have that much time. Didn't have time. Yeah, I didn't have much time. But like if you want, if you are ready to like maybe learn it for an hour, 2 hour a day, you can do that, but you'll have to sacrifice maybe like hanging out with your friends. I don't know, some other stuff. Yeah. How did you prepare yourself to do research? To be honest, I wasn't prepared at all. I mean, I was just having like A's, A minuses on the courses. And on the second year, I decided that I want to know more about the research and what do people do in research. Like, how is it? Why is everyone going to research? Maybe I'm in future going to be a professor or something. I want to know more about this like sphere. For instance, currently I'm doing optics research. So how did I prepare? I just have written to my professor like, I have absolutely no skills in this sphere. I'm absolutely idiot. I'm not ready for anything, but I'm hardworking and I will try to do my best. Like, if it's okay, you can take me in your research group and then we'll see. And he just gave me some stuff to learn. In fact, professor said, just do it on your own, just research, make a research about it, learn some articles and something. So yeah, in fact, if you go to the research, it will take quite a lot of your time and your efforts. So please be ready for it. I mean, yeah. By the way, do we at least have some places where can we apply EC now? Actually, EC knowledge is applied everywhere. I mean, almost everywhere, like every electronic device is consisting of circuits, of some power elements. So it's almost everywhere, but that depends if this is interesting for you. For instance, I'm not interested in working with generators like three-phase, some things. I don't want to work with it. I rather want to work with like logic gates and everything, like circuits. So you can apply EC, like general knowledge, everywhere. I mean, it's used everywhere, but that depends on your particular specialization that you choose. Don't have Tesla or other yeah, in Kazakhstan it's quite hard, but you have, for instance, military companies. I mean, in fact, you have only two choices in Kazakhstan. One is the oil industry, second is military industry. So in military industry, you have communications and systems, or even circuits maybe. In oil industry, you'll have also the same things, but also power engineering, maybe computer engineering. I don't know, as far as I know, in military service or in military industry, you're not using computer engineering, for instance. I mean, we are not that developed. So you have only two choices in Kazakhstan. So that's why most of our guys want to go abroad, or they do change their specialization from ECE to some like other things. For instance, guys that graduated this year, few guys that I know, they work as programmers on freelance. Like some other guys just went abroad, luckily. Some guy works as a business analytics man after like graduating ECE. So yeah. 8-1.
Okay, then I think there were a lot of questions. So I want to thank you, Arman, for this amazing speech. I think it was really informative and like first-hand experience. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. This wraps up our session today, and I guess good luck with your studies. And midterms are coming, so be sure to study hard and also be safe. And thank you all again, and bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.